You get home after a day of notifications, fake smiles, and the kind of background noise that never fully leaves your chest. The apartment isn't dirty, not really, but the hoodie on the chair, the pan in the sink, the package on the counter, and your body still stays braced. People love to call that dramatic, lazy even. They're reading the surface, not the mechanism. This is not a character flaw. It is friction. For some minds, disorder does not look minor. It feels like an unfinished sentence hanging in the room, and the nervous system keeps scanning for closure. That's why chaos can drain you before you even sit down. And for some people, the moment order brings relief often stops being habit. It becomes identity. Most people never stop to question the moral verdict attached to a room. A crowded counter? Lazy. A chair buried under clothes? Undisciplined. A space that looks handled? Now that's virtue. That whole story is flimsy. Predictive processing, closely tied to Carl Friston's work, suggests the brain is always trying to reduce uncertainty, to smooth out what feels unresolved before it turns into stress. So when a room is full of loose ends, some minds do not file that away as harmless background. They register it as friction. Quiet friction, yes, but friction all the same. That is why you can come home drained, drop your bag, notice one pan, one hoodie, one unopened package, and feel your energy sink before you even sit down. Not because the room is filthy, because the room feels unfinished, like a sentence missing its final period. And your nervous system hates open loops more than most people realize. There's real cognitive weight behind that. Work from Princeton researchers Sabine Kastner and Melissa Hale McMains helps show how visual competition makes clutter harder for attention to filter out. In plain English, objects compete. They pull. They keep asking for a tiny slice of your mind. In a culture already built on notifications, performative availability, and homes that never fully feel off-duty, that low-grade drag doesn't stay on the counter. It moves into your chest, your focus, your mood. Look, people moralize way too fast what is often just a difference in sensitivity. This is not weakness. It is not immaturity. It is a nervous system reacting to a space that keeps whispering, unfinished, unfinished, unfinished. And when family systems or work cultures train people to laugh that off as being too much, the shame starts weighing more than the mess itself. Which leads to the part that changes everything. If disorder can pull at attention this hard, why does order create relief so fast?
What people call pickiness is often something far less trivial: attentional residue. Sophie Leroy used that term to describe what happens when part of the mind stays latched on to what feels unfinished, even after you've supposedly moved on. A cluttered room can do the exact same thing. Your eyes keep catching the plate, the half-closed drawer, the mail on the counter, and each object pulls a thin thread of attention. Not dramatic, costly. Environmental psychology was pointing in this direction long before social media turned distraction into a full-time atmosphere. In work from the Princeton Neuroscience Institute, Melissa Hale McMains and Sabine Kastner showed that when the visual field gets crowded, stimuli compete for neural representation, and focus gets weaker. That matters even more now because modern life is already built to fracture attention. Notifications, open tabs, always-on work culture, homes that double as offices, and the quiet expectation that you should stay reachable all day. Disorder does not slam into you like a wall. It slips in like a cold draft under the door, spreading through concentration one gap at a time. So when you put one mug away and feel relief that seems weirdly bigger than the act itself, that is not placebo. It is cognitive load dropping. The room stops tugging, stops whispering for closure. And here's where almost everybody gets the story wrong. Order is not calming because it looks nice. It is calming because it removes silent competition from the nervous system. Which brings us to the real shift. Why do some people stop treating that relief like a chore and start treating it like a standard?
So here's the deeper truth. This was never just a discipline problem. Cognitive load does not pile up evenly across all nervous systems, especially in a world built on alerts, visual clutter, unfinished conversations, and that quiet pressure to stay available all the time. For some people, order is not moral theater. It is the exact moment the room stops demanding one more thing. That is why a rinsed mug, a clear chair, or a folded blanket can hit with relief that feels strangely out of proportion. The act is small. The shift is not. The space stops sitting there like an unpaid bill in the corner of your mind. And that is the part people keep misreading. Order is not fear pretending to be control.
At its healthiest, it is self-respect you can actually see. If this felt like the permission you didn't know you needed, leave the word order in the comments. I read every single one. And the next layer matters even more. If a room can keep your mind braced, what happens when certain people, conversations, and social roles do it every day? That's the door we open next.
So the real shift was never from messy to perfect. It was from shame to clarity. Some minds absorb cognitive load faster than others, especially in a world flooded with alerts, visual clutter, open loops, and the quiet expectation that you should stay reachable at all times. That does not make you rigid. It means your system catches friction earlier, while everyone else is still calling it nothing. A handled room is not proof of virtue. It is often regulation in physical form. The rinsed mug, the folded blanket, the clear counter. Small moves, yes, but the nervous system reads them as closure. The way a body exhales when a door finally clicks shut. And that distinction matters. Perfectionism is fear chasing approval. Order, at its healthiest, is peace you can actually see. If this felt like the permission you didn't know you needed, leave the word order in the comments. I read every single one. And the next question cuts even deeper. If a room can keep the mind bracing, what happens when certain people, conversations, and social roles do the exact same thing? That's where we go next.